Can't have the bald head on.
God damn bull.
No one's ever seen that before.
No one's ever seen that. I don't think. You know what we should do? We should just edit like one frame of that in there. Bam.
And what's like a little subliminal? What
Like
is
a little-
the movie?
Yeah.
Fight Club. You know what they? One of the guys is a projectionist, and throughout the movie he puts in little like split seconds, milliseconds of dicks. So you'd be sitting there. So they show a little picture of the crowd. I was watching this in the cinema, and all of a sudden it's like dick. Everyone's like. It's hilarious.
Just pop up.
And no one wants to say anything just in case it didn't actually happen. But it was actually a dick that just popped up.
I love that. You know what? We're not going with dicks. We're going with Murph's bald head.
Bald head.
Bald head.
And it was like, no. Apparently, I look like I'm 28. One of my clients mentioned that today.
Welcome back to another episode of Murph and Mitise show. We got drinks on us, and we're going to talk about Murph looking 28. Let's go.
In this next song, you must march around the room. Here we go.
I know what the fuck I'm doing. Just sit down in the chair.
Must be because I shaved yesterday.
Did you you shaved yesterday? Did you look like that today?
Not like clean. I don't do clean shave.
You look like Hagrid from
Who?
Harry Potter.
What's his name?
Hagrid.
Is that his name?
Not Dumbledore. You ain't no wizard.
No.
You're the guy that lives in the garden.
Is he like a caretaker or some shit?
He's the caretaker. You're the caretaker. But you know what?
Isn't he fat, dumb and slow?
No, he's not fat, dumb, and slow. You remember Relentless?
Yes.
Who's the best one in Relentless? What's the best to be?
Michael Jordan.
Fuck off now. It's best to be the
Deny
cleaner.
that,
It's
deny
best to be the cleaner.
Yeah, fair comment.
Right? So, respect. I want to be.
I was still right.
You were right, because you know what? We're not going to have that conversation on camera because I don't know basketball. Anyway, I already gave it a welcome. Welcome back to another episode of Murph and Mitise show, just for the second time in case you didn't get the first one. This is our second show in the same evening.
As you know, because we haven't changed.
We haven't changed. If you're watching the YouTube clips, you'll notice that we have exactly the same headgear. We have a uniform on, so that's not going to change at all. But same clothes. We did get rid of the bourbon whiskey from the last episode.
I refused.
Murph straight up refused and also put a good case for us as to why he doesn't want to have it. So now we've got this delicious looking cognac.
This is a Malsalva.
A Malsalva.
I can't remember what it's called.
Let's say it's a Malsalva.
But it's a form of fortified wine that is delicious.
You know what? I'm going to say it again. I said it in the last episode. I'm going to say it again. Saturday Night Murph is my favourite Murph. Normally we do Thursday or Friday. Friday afternoon Murph is also a fun Murph. Second favourite Murph.
Second favourite. It's basically when I get to just like... That's some ASMR, I guess.
This can't be a thing. Anyway, cheers to this one. We're gonna continue on from our last little chat. That was delicious.
Right.
That was really delicious.
Juicy. It's like a juicy sultana.
The Malsalva, 100% recommend it. Now,
Beautiful.
people aren't listening to us talk about alcohol because that's not this
That's
podcast.
the next podcast.
That's not this
Other
podcast.
show.
That's not the next episode or any of our seasons coming up. So please keep listening. And if you haven't got your friends to subscribe, get them to subscribe also because we're trying to get our numbers up. We talk about some good shit. Anyway,
We think so.
in the last episode, we talked a lot about fears and feelings, and I think we started to break down some barriers a little bit.
We're going to go one level deeper.
Do you want to go one level deeper?
Let's do. Maybe even two.
Maybe two. I'm gonna let you lead it. What level do you want to go to?
Well, we spoke about... I spoke about my fears and we spoke about our fears or our feelings.
Feelings.
Based on... Feelings based on fears or fears based on feelings?
No, we spoke about our motivating factors that we have developed for ourselves and our
Yes.
our strategies for living. You know what? This is fucking. I'm on it now.
You got it?
We discussed in the last episode our strategies for life from feelings that we've had in the past and why we've done what we've done and why we do what we do.
Correct.
I did say I was going to let you lead it, but I just had a thought just then.
Hey, run with that shit.
Another story. All right. So the very reason I am here, literally here right now.
Ooh.
Okay.
Like in this seat in my house?
In this seat in your house. Okay, if you trace back the tree, my decision tree, if you go back through my decision tree, all right. So
Keep going.
all right, if you go back through my decision tree, tell me you're recording this one.
Yes.
You've got the microphone in. Okay, cool. So Murph's put a microphone into YouTube. Cool. So if you trace back my decision tree, I can almost pinpoint the moment that I was led or I decided to explore this path. Not decided to explore, that's the wrong word, because I didn't know what was coming. But there was a decision that was made when I was, I reckon 17. 16 or 17, must have been 17. That led me to this path of fitness and training and S&C and performance and whatever.
Right, we spoke about mine last time.
I know
What's yours, Mitise?
We did. So we did speak a little bit about the Mr. Perkins telling me that I was going to make through uni. You know what? He was right. We did talk about me going to uni. We didn't discuss why I chose this profession. And now,
Tell me.
let's go deeper.
Tell us.
Tell us. Tell everyone. Hopefully the whole world hears this. No, I'm kidding. So when I was at university, my first job I was working at Fast Pasta, Golden Grove, right? Started as a dishy and then ended up working...
Just quickly, real quick.
Go on.
My sister comes to the gym. She trains with us. And one day she provided Josh with some food. I can't remember what she gave you. She said, here you go, here's some food. Do you know how to cook? And your reply was, yes, because I used to work at Faster Pasta. She told that story to my family, and we all had a good chuckle at the dinner table.
Thanks for that. Thanks, John.
Anyway, continue. Side note, people who work at Faster Pasta do not know how to cook.
I don't know if we can do this anymore. You know what? I'm glad I provided your family with amusement
You did.
in my absence.
Continue.
Anyway, I was at Fast Pasta. I started as a dishy, ended up working my way up into the kitchen, right?
Yep.
Heating up the pasta,
Yep.
putting the pre-made sauce together.
Yep.
Okay. and this one night, I'd been there for 3 years at this point. I started when I was 14 and 8 months, whatever that literally the legal age was. So it must have been 17 and at least 8 months. I've been there over 3 years. I've had two bosses. One boss's name was Tom, and he was the floor boss, right? So he was in charge of floor management. And then the other boss was Foddy, and Foddy was in charge of the kitchen stuff, right? Now Foddy was like 40% owner, and then Tom was like 60% owner. So Tom had the overruling votes, right? Anyway, sometimes Tom would come into the kitchen and try and do stuff. Now, as you just alluded to, Fast Pasta is not the most complex place to work, and it's quite easy to move from kitchen to floor, right? Anyway, I'd been there 3 years. I knew my shit because
You're an experienced cook.
I'm an experienced cook. I said I like something like Murph, but he's getting a bit too happy right now. Okay, so I'm an experienced cook. I've learned all the processes that Foddy's taught us. All right, so Foddy's been the kitchen boss. Here's what we do. Here's how we do it. Here's how we clean the bain-maries at the end of the night, pack things up, blah, blah, blah. And this one night, Tom was out cooking up. I would say a storm. It wasn't a storm, like a sprinkling of rain.
It was pasta.
It was pasta.
Okay.
And it was averagely done. Anyway, so Tom's in the kitchen, and I'm gone in the end of the night. So it must have been 9:30, 10 o'clock, or just before 9:45. I've started taking out all the bain-maries as we normally would, as I've done 6 days a week, every week, for 3 years. Okay. Tom comes in, and now Tom comes in and has a go at me for how I'm doing things. And I just was not in the mood that night. I was like, I'm a 17-year-old dude, right? I got fucking issues right now. I need your shit. Right?
I got the world on my shoulders.
The world on my shoulders, bro. What the hell? Who the hell do you think you are? Anyway, so Tom came in and told me off some shit. And I literally said to him, I said, dude, could we talk about this after shift finishes? I won't talk about it right now. And he pushed me. Said it again. Whatever he was telling me off about, he was saying some shit. No, I want it done this way, whatever. And I said, I've asked you once, because we're in front of customers as well. So the way Fast Pasta works is like you've got a little shelf. There's customers just there when you're cooking. And he pushed me again. I said, no, I told you this is the, and I said, I want to talk about it after the shift. One more time pushed me. I said, fuck off. I don't want to deal with you right now. I'll talk to you later. Fuck you. Right? Walked out the back. Took my baby Maries to the dishwashing machine. Then it would have been about 10 minutes. I was out there cleaning pans and putting the dishes through and helping the dishes out and the other cooks out. And then I was like, oh, I wonder when I'm working next week. Because I think it was a Friday night. So I wonder when I'm working next week. And I went to the roster. My name was like crossed off the roster.
You got days off.
I got days off. I got days off indefinitely. I'm still waiting for my callback. So
where's this story going?
So I was crossed off, and I was like, oh, okay, well that's a bit it's been unfortunate. Anyway, I was like, and this is where a little bit of my confidence came into it, and I was like, I know I'm good. I'm gonna get a job. I'm gonna talk to Foddy about this, all right? And Foddy's gonna sort the shit out. Foddy didn't sort shit out. At that point, I realized Foddy's only a 40% owner, not a 60% owner.
Oh.
So I was fired.
Yo.
And I was like, okay, so I was angry. And relate back to the feelings. I was angry.
You felt angry?
I felt anger.
Okay.
Right? Because I was like, this is ridiculous. I don't understand. I've just been fired at the job I had. Now, Tom and I didn't have the best relationship previously, before that. I thought he was an asshole. He thought I was probably a little upstart. We were both right. And then anyway, so he got fired. Literally a week later, I had another job. Mm-hmm. Right? So literally that Friday, the following Friday, I had another job. Now,
up you, Tom.
Up you, Tom. Take that, cigars. We good. Now we good. Because I saw him a bit later in the food land about 10 years later. Anyway, I'll tell you about that later.
Okay.
So what had happened is I left, had a chat to Foddy the next day. Foddy was like, dude, I can't help you out. Like, you've done this, shouldn't have done that, shouldn't have reacted the way you did, but you did. And you are fired now. And I was like, okay, cool, I understand. And he said, look, there's another place that's opening up. There's a Cafe Primo opening up, and I'll put in a good word for you. I said, cool. So he ends up getting me a job at a Cafe Primo. I did my training at Teacher Plaza, and then he ended up getting me the job. The Cafe Primo that was opening up new was in the city on Guja Street. Mm-hmm. Right? Now, if you understand the demographic of people that go to Cafe Primo,
I do,
and you understand the greater population that sits around Guja Street,
yes,
you will realise that opening a Cafe Primo on Guja Street is not the best idea.
They clash.
They clash a lot.
Yes.
And to put it simply for those...
Would have been the most Australian-Italian place in a very...
Chinese area.
Yeah,
for those of you listening that are interstate or international right now, it was a wrong business decision, I think. Anyway, so what had happened is that Wednesday's Primo, obviously they had funding from the start. We tried to do our best with it, and we found out as we started to open, we had launch day and whatever. After the first sort of year, it started sort of dying off, and we weren't doing many orders, and there were literally days where we'd get in at I think it was 8 or 9 to prep. We'd open at 10 or 11, and we would literally have one order the entire day. I remember one day I gave one person 3 pieces of garlic bread, and that was it, the whole day.
Wow.
And then in the evening, we'd get like 50 meals. Now, put it in context, 50 meals on a Friday or Saturday night at this Primo, compared to 350, 400 of us faster, like, I'm chilling.
Yeah.
I'm chilling, right? So... As we're doing our thing, the kitchen staff requested a radio, right? Because we're doing nothing. I remember one day we were out the back.
Oh, I can see where this is going.
You see this going? And we requested a radio because it started with us out the back playing cricket with eggs, right? Because we were bored.
As you do.
Right? We were bored, getting paid money to do nothing, so we were bored. So play cricket with eggs. Anyway, that moved to us asking for a radio. Then we ended up getting a TV in the kitchen. And by that time, if you've got a TV in the kitchen, your restaurant's not going too well. Now, on the radio one night, I heard an ad for the IIF, the Australian Institute of Fitness. And I must have been in my 3rd year, right? I just had my 3rd year of uni, as we discussed in the last episode. And it had just had that lecture from the professor who was like, of the 200 of you in here, only 2 of you will get jobs in the industry. Coincidentally, then I got into work right? Or was it around that time, within the month or whatever. And an ad came up that I heard on IIF saying, hey, if you want to be a personal trainer, here's this our latest course, 8-week course, you know, become a personal trainer, work around your hours, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, you know what? Why don't I defer uni for a year and invest in this course and see where it goes? Because what I figured is that if I did it for a year, I could leave this job, right? I don't have to be in the kitchen anymore. I can become a personal trainer. I can work my hours at training around university, you know, as I go ahead with that. And so I then explored the course. I still worked, but it's 8 weeks full time, and ended up getting a job in the city at Fitness First in the city, right? And then the structure of the Fitness First was you run your own business as a subcontractor within the gym.
Yep.
You see where we're going here?
I remember well.
Right?
Yes.
And so then from there, like I had uni and I had my own business that was running as a subcontractor. And I started to sort of develop this idea that, you know what, I really enjoy running my own business. And I'm not enjoying the university. Now, I was at this point, then I then went and talked to my parents about what they think I should do. I said, they allowed me to defer it a year. I said allowed me. They were like, you know, if you want to defer it, you defer it for a year. And then at the end of that year, so I started in 2007, August, Fitness First. Now, next semester was Feb, March, whatever. So I was like 6 months in. Had a contract until August. And I said, look, I can make it work. I can go uni and I can also do my clients around this until August and see what happens. Ended up going to uni that next year. And I literally walked in, sat in one lecture at the front of the class. I was like, I am here to learn engineering, right? I sat in one class. I was so pumped. I fell asleep. And I got out of that class after my good nap. And I was like, you know what? This ain't for me. Engineering is not for me. Fast forward. Here we are.
Yeah, funnily enough, engineering is for you
Well,
in a very different context.
Well, I don't want to lead into that too much, but that's the way my mind works, and you know this very well.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
it's like 2.5 years of engineering, and then, or 2.25 years of engineering, and then coming to here, this is how I see the body, you know,
Yes.
from that perspective, you know, but that's extra stuff. But the actual decision that was made on that night to tell Tom to take it, right, has then had these like consequential outcomes that I've then, you know, decision tree. Here we are. And I thought that was super fascinating because this where we are right now came from me being angry.
I think it's very much based on someone's emotional intelligence. And your consciousness around that to be able to understand what you're currently going through. And again, so your consciousness around to understand what you're going through and having the emotional intelligence to be able to do something with that.
At the time though, take it back to Josh at the time, no idea, just reacted.
But you must have had something, like you weren't just, no?
Just
So-
angry.
just an angry dude who made some rash decision.
It was an angry moment, right? So the first moment, the pivotal moment,
Yep,
Tom, stick it,
yep.
right? That moment was reactional, right? And then after that, they were considered moments, and not considered to a point that this is where I want to go. I didn't design my life.
Yeah.
To that point. I didn't design my life to that point. But after that, I was like, okay, being angry and reacting in this way got me fired. So I'm not gonna react and tell someone to stick it again because I might get fired again, right? So I changed that part of me.
Yep.
Also, I took notice from that.
Yep.
And then when I got into the training side of things and the situation that arose as part of that, like coincidence, we don't know, you know. But when I got into the gym, the training side of things, my idea was to, you know, I didn't know what the industry was like. I'm gonna work as a personal trainer for a gym. I'm gonna have my hours. Someone's gonna manage me, and then I'm gonna go to uni, right? But then getting into the situation I did where I was in control of my time and I was effectively and essentially my own boss. And I love that. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Well, my outcomes depend upon my actions now. Now I'll be more considered, you know, but that was like 3 steps down the line from me telling Tom to stick it. You know, it's like that little meme you see where you got a little domino instead of big domino. You know what I mean? A little domino is like telling Tom to go stick it. And the big domino is like sitting in Murph's house drinking craft beers in 2021.
Yes.
Go.
Look, I don't know. I think everyone goes through it. It's whether you take action on it. So like before when I gave my advice to Murph back then, like this Murph giving Murph advice, Murph back then.
Papa Murph to baby Murph.
What would Papa Mitise give to baby Mitise now back then? I mean, obviously at the end of the day, baby Murph did do something with his life. Baby Mitise did do something with his life. So your advice would pretty much be, keep doing exactly what you're doing. We know that. But what would be the advice you give to, again, maybe to someone else in the exact same decision that told Tom to go stick it? What would you say to that person who's now gone, fuck, I just got fired. I don't really know what I'm going to do. Mitise enters and says,
I haven't thought about the advice I would give to baby Mitise. I think it is an understanding and being accepting of how you understanding why and how you react to things. You know, as in, you know, I was bloody 17 and 8 months old, 17 years and 8 months old at that point, and you know, you're going through this like testosterone phase, and you're going through puberty, and you want to try and like establish yourself in society and whatever your other behavioral and psychological growth is at that point in time. You know, you want to really try and do that. I think my advice would be, do you, right? Keep doing you, but continue to ask questions. Why did this happen? You know, I think at that point, if we go back to that decision, decision 0, right? Like patient 0, decision 0, would be continue to ask questions, because I didn't really ask deeper questions, or didn't ask the questions around why or how until probably my 2nd or 3rd year at Fitness First, which was effectively 4 to 5 years later after that decision. You know, and only then, when I had come into contact with people who then pushed me to ask those questions in regards to, you know, training and business and philosophy and life and whatever, did I begin to ask those questions of myself. You know, and I think the sooner you can learn, and the sooner you can learn to ask yourself why and provide yourself the answers without filters and without ego and without convention and without just what mum told me, this is what I was told, whatever. And the sooner you can distill down your understanding of what you're going through and what you're feeling and what you want to achieve in that situation, the better things will be quicker. You know, I feel very lucky that I've kind of essentially fallen into something that I really enjoy doing. You know,
fallen?
I kind of,
there's a lot of
there was
work
decisions,
and process and
right, but those decisions at the time where I was coincidentally went to Cafe Primo. Coincidentally, the Primo that I went to was a terrible Primo. Coincidentally, or you know, for luck purposes, the bosses said, yes, we could have a radio, yes, we could have a TV. And then coincidentally, I was working on that night that ad was on at that point in time, and that I then decided to inquire. You know what I mean? There's a whole bunch of other, you know, things that came up that I could have just ignored or not been around for. I might not have been rostered on that night. I might not have gone to that Primo. I might not have had those bosses. I might not have had those managers that allowed that to occur, you know. And so, would I have been in a similar situation? I don't know. And I probably wouldn't. You cannot say I would be or wouldn't be. You know, would I have had a similar mindset in regards to how I want to take control of my life and the values that I have and the legacy that I want to leave? Yes, I would have that similar mindset. I believe I would have, because of my growth.
Do you believe the mindset? Sorry to interrupt. The mindset you have now and the beliefs and the values you have now, you would still have if if you weren't in this position you're in now.
Yes.
Really?
Because I believe that the values that I was given and the values that I have taken on board for myself have come from my development as a child and development within the societal groups and the friendship groups and one that I've kept around me.
So I'm going to take the limelight away from you for a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'll throw it back at you later.
Do it.
So in the same storyline that you're going through, my story a little bit more was, like as I said before in the last episode, with my business partner that struggled, we separated, financial issues, and I sort of got stuck and went, fuck, what am I going to do now? I sat down with my parents and my partner at the time, and I give credit to those three still, where I sat down and said, I'm not sure what I want to do with my life anymore. I don't know if I should still be in this industry because I'm stuck, I'm lost. I don't think I'm going to enjoy this, what I'm doing now, for the next, well, how old was I at that point? Maybe 30? The next 40 years. Normal typical age of retirement is around 70, right?
Yeah.
And they said, well, Mum, I'm pretty sure it was Mum that said, what do you love? Like, what out of everything else, what do you love the most? My partner at the time probably didn't appreciate this so much, but I said, basketball. First thing that popped in my head was basketball.
That's why basketball stays and etc. Ooh, sorry, Steph.
Thank you. So yeah, and Mum said, well, why don't you follow it? Mm-hmm. What now is probably 7-8 years later, here I am in basketball. Still, more news coming. And so it was, and I guess when I asked you, would you have the same values, and you said yes, it did make me think. I guess I would, based on the upbringing I've had. But I think where I was thinking was different was I would have them in a different area. So I guess values won't change, right?
But the output of or the expression of would be different.
Different, yeah. So obviously now I am in sport. I am in semi-pro, pro, collegiate, upbringing, amateurs. That's what my values are. I think it would be exactly the same in corporate if I was doing corporate work or...
Values, where your values are or where your energy is focused? Because you said that's what your values are.
I think energy comes from your values, right?
Well, I'm just questioning that because you've said your values are in collegiate and professional and whatever, right? I think that's an expression of your values. Like for me, the way when I talk about values, I see you as being hardworking, committed to growing yourself and those around you, committed to leaving a positive legacy in the world, committed to driving growth for the industry that you're in, committed to truth and committed to basic positivity, right? And so those values...
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, little shout out to Murph for that. Those values, the values that you've got there, and whatever they may be, they might be different to that, but they can be applied to any industry. You could go into banking and want to grow banking and whatever, right? So the values that underpin you as a person allow you and provide you the foundation to do what you do and express them in what you do in this industry.
Yes.
Your values, I would say that your values, I know you, right? Your values aren't based in professional sport. Your values aren't based in collegiate sport. Your values aren't based in basketball. Your values are based in being a good human and growing that exposure to that good humanness in the world.
Well, values are humanistic. Values belong to the human being.
Boom.
And then, as you say, your expression of values happen in your environment that you're surrounded in. So my expression of my humanistic values are currently involved in my sport
That's
or
where
my
you
industry.
express them.
Yes.
What would you say your top 3 values are? And this is also a question for those listening as well. I'm not going to do a little rant, there's a wall there, we're talking to it. If you're listening right now, what are your top 3 values?
We should do a little podcast live. Not podcast live, a Instagram live on people's values, and then we talk about that. That could be interesting.
We're gonna do it.
What would my top 3 values be? Interesting. I think without like in the contextual form, family. So not family so much as in blood relatives, but families in my tribe. Maybe that's a better way to put it. My tribe.
Ooh,
You like that?
I love that.
So the people that mean the most to me. So that I value them. So yourself, my blood family, my best mates, they're my tribe. I do value them huge amounts. I don't know a word to say that's meaning bigger than huge amounts.
What's bigger than huge?
Massive, exponential amounts. My tribe is huge. Is a big value to me, and the importance and the impact that I have and they have on me is a big value to me. Loyalty is a big one as well. That I hold, and that's goes both ways for me to someone and someone to me. I have a lot of respect for that side of things.
You're like the Donald Trump of the fitness industry.
I don't think I want to be known as that.
Just unwavering loyalty to me as a leader. I'm just kidding.
That's a little awkward moment.
I've been watching way too much like political commentary on the US system right now.
I am not the Donald Trump of the industry.
Anyway, loyalty is a value. Keep going.
So my tribe, loyalty, I think growth would be the last one. I mean, they're the first 3 to come to my head, so I guess they're the 3 most important ones. Growth in the way of, in all aspects, growth. That'd be mine. Yours? What's yours, Mitise?
I think top 3 values. It's an interesting one because I'm currently going through a process of like trying to really draw them out. I'm going through a process of really trying to.
It's not an easy thing, is it?
No, and I put you on the spot.
And they change. Like your values do change as you go, as you get older, as you change in your environment, your careers, whatever it might be. Your values are never concrete.
I think they're expressed differently. I think that the way I think about it is that you would still have what you value as a input and output.
Have you read yet or listened to? It's easy to listen to. Don Beck's book on spiral dynamics.
Not yet.
So that's what I mean by they change. And if you're out there and you love this sort of stuff, I love this sort of stuff. I love the human dynamic and all that sort of stuff. It's quite interesting. Look into the book by Don Beck, Spiral Dynamics. It's a difficult book to listen to and to read.
Didn't you just say it's easy?
No, did I say it's easy?
You said it's easy to listen to. We can rewind the audio. I can play it again for you.
It's not easy because
easy.
you will constantly.
That's why I've avoided it because you said to me, "Dude."
I told you. It's not easy because it's you need to rewind and re-listen to a lot of things because it's quite technical in the way he explains things, and there's so many convoluted ways of. Look, humans are convoluted people. Like we're not a convoluted species. We're not.
Thank you.
We're not straightforward, right? Yeah. So this book does explain a lot about evolution of values, evolution of personalities, and not just as an individual, but as a tribe or as a community and as a world. Fascinating book, like extremely fascinating, and that's why I say our values do change based on the evolution of our life.
Okay. Yeah. I can see what you mean better. My values are based around, and like I was saying, sorry, to get back to that, is like I'm trying to really get down to what is the core of my values. What do I actually value? If I could name 10 different things that I value, right, as a person. If I could get down to 3 of them, 2 of them, 1 of them, what would my driving value be? How do I live my life? And how do I consistently, through every aspect of my life, friends, family, professional, personal, whatever, right? What would that be? And I cannot answer that question. I value growth. I value legacy. I value the idea that I'm going to leave the world better than what I entered it. That's what I value. I value honesty and output. I value, the idea of authenticity, right, to who we are. I value that, and have I always been able to express it? No, I haven't, and that's why it's interesting to me now, going through and like feeling these things and like hearing from people, different people and the same people, that how do I, okay, let's strip the layers back. This is Josh the Onion. Right? This is Mitise the Onion.
Shrek. I love Shrek.
You know what I mean? Right? And we're going to peel that onion back
Yep.
until we get to the core of the onion.
Yep.
And that's what I love. And, one of the biggest things that I've gone through recently, so ideas, I say things, gone through things. No. Idea I had recently. And this started probably 2 years ago at New Year's Eve. Whereas, not New Year's Eve, Christmas. It was a Christmas party at one of my clients' houses, Andrew's house. And it was myself, and there was Andrew, and there was a couple there, and there was some other people there. It was a small group. And I was having a chat to one of my other clients who was also friends in like friendship circle. And she was talking about not being able to be connected to her friends at the moment because all they want to talk about kids and all they want to talk about marriage, and she's not into that. And I was like, that's cool, right? I said, what I'm finding interesting at this time is, and she's like, and as the kicker for that, she said, how do I find new friendship groups? How do I find people that are like me, right? Where do I find them? And I said, look, at this point in time, I think it's not necessarily about finding new people, because generally by the age of 25 to 28, we've got most of our people in our circle that are going to stick with us, and that we're going to stick with. I said to her, look, I think it's a matter of having different conversations with the same people, right? And where does that take you? And what journey does that take you on? If your friends are always talking about kids and marriage, that's fine. That's at the forefront of their mind. But what's deeper in their mind? What do they want to talk about deeper? How are you going to change that conversation? And how are you going to kind of massage where your communications go to try and see, okay, cool, how are you doing though? How are you feeling on this? And what's happening with that, outside of the reg, outside of the status quo? I was asked on my Instagram earlier today. I put up a ask me a question thing, which I got from you, so thanks for giving that one. Ask me a question thing, and someone put in there, what is one of your fears, right? And I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? Like, if you had to ask me what one of my fears is, one of my fears would be being fit into the status quo.
Yeah, fuck being normal.
And but is it really fuck being normal, or is it accepting your normal?
Or
because there will be a bunch of people.
Fuck being the normal, the
standard deviation.
Yes.
Right, the bell curve.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because that's what I was thinking about, right? I was like, I don't want to be like status quo. That's my fears, fitting into that and being like, oh, okay, you do this, and I can predict this, and I can predict that, and I can predict this, and whatever, because you fit into the bell curve.
Yes. What's I want to do like the third standard deviation?
Yeah, I want to be like there's to the right.
Yes.
Push that bad boy up.
Yeah, exactly.
We're gonna lean that way, And so that was, I think, that went through my head, right? And it was like, okay, cool. So if you're with someone and you're not getting value from them and you're not vibing with what they're saying or what the communication is, right? Before you cut them and try and find new friends, try having a different conversation.
Yeah.
And this is something that me and you have gone through recently, like we've done it from a while back, but even more recently we've gone, let's have different conversations. Let's start to explore some
That's
things.
exactly what we're doing right now.
Right now, and get some drinks in the conversation.
Exactly.
And I think I love it. Like, I love it.
Yep. I think people come in your life that are situational people, where they are there for a situation. Like you go through study and you meet situational friends. They're your study friends. when you finish your study, they disappear. Normal. That's just part of life. And then there's people that just hang around for a lot longer. And you know, hopefully everyone has those people. And it's those people that you need to do exactly what you're talking about there. And it's adapt your conversation. It's adapt the way you speak and what you speak about. Because your life is always going to change. Like, yes, you're going to have, someone's going to be more career focused, someone's going to be more family focused, someone's going to be more, I don't know, whatever else focused, but you're still the same people deep down. You still have this, typically, you're still going to have the same values, you're still going to have the same belief systems, and it's on that level you can start to communicate to stay friends.
Yep.
And it's when you can, they no longer become a situational friend, but like now it's your family, you're part of your tribe. That's where the tribe comes into it. And I think that's
expressing that empathy as well, what you just said.
Yeah.
Expressing that empathy and understanding, okay, shit may change situationally, but at the core level, I want to know what you're about and you understand what I'm about.
Yeah.
Expressing that empathy.
Yeah.
And actually having feelings about someone else's well-being and output. Oh my God. We're gonna do another one.
On that note.
We're gonna do another one. We'll, on that note, we out. We'll be back very soon. For us, very, very soon. With another episode of the Murph and Mitise Show. Let's get some more drinks.